Hi, this is Takasasu with the Dark Wardens, and in our last admin-only video, we went over how to create recipes in a mod for 7 Days to Die and how to set that all up. Today we'd like to, or this video we'd like to show you how to actually edit stuff in the vanilla files without actually touching the vanilla files using xpath. So we see we have this military armor here. And we're going to look at the stats on it and see if we like the stats, because I don't think we like the stats. So we have Armor Military Master. This is something you don't see, but it shows... It basically, all this stuff, when you see extends, takes whatever's here and adds this stuff to it. So this is the original stats for the military clothing. In this case, this is the military helmet. So earlier we were editing, I think, the hazmat stuff. So let's go up there and let's finish that recipe off. And take a minute to find it. I'm going to actually just copy this over here, Control F to find, Control V to paste, find next, Hazmat Clothing Master. So this is the master values for property values for the hazmat clothing, and all the hazmat items after that extend these property values to just add something to it. So the first line is whether or not it's creative mode. These are not always in the same order, so don't quote me on this. Custom icon, it's going to pull hazmat boots. Display type is clothing. Stack number is 1. Always have a stack number 1 in clothing. Encumbrance, it adds 0.03 to encumbrance, so that's going to be how much stamina loss you have and how much it slows your running and walking speed. The material is military fiber. This tells the game how tough the material is that it's made out of. Degradation breaks after false. The weight is 5. Economic value is 400. This is how much it sells for. Hold type is 45, so that tells the game where on your person this goes. The mesh file, this is what it looks like when you hold it. Dropped mesh file, this is what it looks like when you drop it on the ground. Description, this tells the game where to find the description for this item. So when you look at it in the game, it tells you what the item, the description on it from the menu. Group, it comes from the clothing group. Skills, it comes from clothing armor. Crafting skills is crafting science. We already know there's not a recipe for it, so that's not a problem. And we're going to keep going at this. So when you get to another item that's hazmat boots and it says extends, it grabs all this information and then it adds or modifies it according to this. And xpath has a similar construct in that xpath tells the game, this is different kind of xpath coding, tells the game what item to look at and what property to change or add to the item. So first off, we're going to create an items file, and we're going to move to the other view. We are going to change this language to XML, and we are going to go grab this information up here. So just grab all the way from appends, from XML down to appends, and paste that in. And then we're going to go after these items and grab the appends and the end of that, so the game knows where those go. Now we're going to change this from recipes to items, and this is very important because while this is a recipe, it appends it to the bottom of the recipes file. This file is going to append these items into this items file over here. So I want to make sure when you are typing in here, once again, that you are below these and above these. You're going to be between these two files, file tags. And this is still in clothing mod, and we are in items. Now, I am not completely versed in how to write Xcode, so like other things like grabbing over here, we kind of sort of cheat. But don't worry, other modders are okay with that because the coding's pretty much the same. So we are going to go up here to our mods, and we're going to go grab a mod out of the car spawner. So just open up, yeah, we opened up wrong again. I always do that. We're going to open up this, and we're going to look for an append blocks master that looks like this. And it's pretty much the same property value coding with a few changes. So we're just going to copy that. Make sure you get the end of the files. See append and end append. And this file you need to put under here because this is for actually adding whole items, and this adds changes to items. So it's append the xpath in the blocks. We don't need blocks, we actually need items. So we're going to change this to items. And the block is item. So it goes, this is the file. So append xpath to the items file. The item name, the item, and the name of the item is going to be Hazmat Clothing Master. And you're going to just paste that in there. And the property we want to change is not the downgrade block, but we're going to look over here and say we want to add, see, I wanted to add a buff to it. So effect group, lower body heat, radiation, toxic. We actually want to increase this. So I'm not exactly sure if this is going to work, but we are going to take this effect group right here, copy. We're going to go right here and append this into there. It's very important that it is before the word append, so we're going to pull append down so we see it. And this is the effect group we want to change. Faucet is tiered, mall slots. I want to change this to 2. Make sure they all have mod slots. Hyperthermal resist we want to change to 5. And hyperthermal, which is hot. So this is cold, hyperthermal, hypothermal is hot. Elemental damage resist, we want to add, let's go ahead and add a 10, that's good. I want to make sure this code works, and you can't really tell if it works in the game. So what we need to do is look at somebody else's file who changes an effect group. I have an example here where I asked how to do something, and I am going to open it. So mind you a minute while I'm in the other window looking at it. So I asked somebody for help earlier. And instead of append, here's how it works. We're going to do set. So now we want to make sure we have it set instead of append. Append makes it go to the bottom of the list. Set means it changes the property value. So set xpath items from the items file. The item means the item C. So this is items, which goes here. This is item, which just comes from here. The name of the item, so it's telling you go to this name here, Hazmat Clothing Master, and we're going to change the effect group. So if it makes it easier, we can do this. And this. That just helps your visually paragraph in your mind. So it said the original one was this, and we are changing it to this. So passive effect mod slots, we added an extra mod slot, and we changed the values on that. We don't know if this works, but this is they said in the mod room that this is what works. If you're want to ask if something works, you can always go to the forums into the modding section and just simply ask for help. Make sure you set it to you set your things as a request. So you're going to go to the forum if you want to know if it'll work. You're going to go to game modification, discussion and requests, post a new thread, and make sure you prefix it with a request. And that was last time I did. And you're just going to fill this out with your question. You're going to make sure you hit this and append your code inside those code marks so that it looks something like this. I know, right? So when you do that, it'll put the code in here, so it tells people this is the code they need to look at to see if it works. Always make sure you do it that way, because that's kind of, you know, how people who are going to help you are going to find your thread. They'll look through the requests. You can quote people, you can make quotes and whatever here too, but just make sure if you're pasting code into the thing that you paste it between these code brackets like that. Otherwise the code won't work right. It just causes problems. Anyway, so that's how you do a request. You want to make sure it works. I don't know if it works. I will ask after I make this video, but I'm going to go ahead and test it. So we're going to click on here and click Save As. And we're going to go up the config file to the mod folder. The mod folder this goes in, that config file, and then we are going to call this items, because remember, anything we do has to match the original config file configurations. So if we're appending something into the items list, we need to make sure this page also says items, even though it's over in the mod files. So to make sure we don't mess ourselves up, we are going to close this. So anytime you need a code, an XPath code, go ahead and use what other people have used. You can also use other people's mods. I do caution you sometimes, like with the config that other people have done, like here. When I went to use this code, it doesn't work for me. And it's working for him, so we'll just let it work for him. But when I copy this same config thing over, it throws me errors. So anyway, this is somebody else's code, and you can see if you need an XPath string, it's right there, and you can just change the values. Make sure you change them to whatever you're using. For instance, if you are changing blocks, it would say blocks. Items will say items. If you do not, that will throw errors. So you always make sure your coding's right. But coding's not that difficult, and I know a lot of people are like, coding, and it has a lot of can make a lot of people feel trepidation, and including me, even though I've been doing this since 1998, not modding, but I've been modding actual websites since 1998, and I've actually been coding since DOS, so that was in the 80s, so yeah, and I still have panic attacks coding, so don't worry, everyone does it. It's scary to not know what's going to happen, because it's not like something physical you can work on, you can hold, you can make work. It's not like it's going to really hurt anything, so you can always fix stuff. So you don't need to be scared or have panic attacks or whatever. coding's actually a lot easier than people make it out to be. In fact, that's the thing I hate about all these programs out here that supposedly teach you how to code. Like, they do it in the most complicated way possible, and I understand that they're trying to do it so they teach you the proper rules and stuff, but when you're just starting, it's not natural to do it. Just like learning to read, you didn't sit there and pull out a manual and somebody start teaching you how to write a term paper and you're 3, because that's what it feels like. And so when you're learning to mod, you actually just need to dive in and get a few skills, and you'll realize that it's really easy. The stuff will start reading to you easily. Like, you'll start seeing it differently once you work with it for a while, and you'll be able to see, well, this is basically just like a paragraph. These are like sentences in writing, and for the computer's purposes, this is grammar, this is punctuation and grammar, and this is how it works. And it's just basically communicating with the computer what to do. And so it's doing it in a way that you and the computer can understand the same language, even though the computer speaks a completely different language than you. This enables you to basically translate to each other. Hey, I want you to do this. Computer goes, oh, okay, I can do this. So, anyway, have a great day, and I hope to see you modding soon. And I hope my code works. I'm gonna find out, but that is how it works with these other things. So take care, and I'll talk to you later.